What happens when Hollywood's most perfect love story suddenly falls apart? Nicole Kidman just said 7 words that shook the industry. I can't pretend anymore. For nearly 2 decades, she and Keith Urban seemed untouchable. Red carpets, smiles, family photos, everything looked flawless. But behind the scenes, Nicole was living a truth she could no longer hide. Because this wasn't just heartbreak. It was the quiet collapse of a multi-million-dollar empire built on love, loyalty, and a contract that could change everything. And when Nicole finally stopped pretending, Hollywood realized this wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the beginning of a scandal. On September 30th, 2025, Nicole Kidman quietly filed for divorce, ending 18 years of marriage in a single court document. TMZ broke the story first, calling it irreconcilable differences. But Hollywood knew better, because just days earlier, Nicole had told friends she couldn't keep pretending. That one line, "I can't pretend anymore," became the spark for endless speculation. What had she been pretending all these years? On paper, it looked like a clean split. In reality, whispers were already spreading about growing distance, about unspoken resentment, and about a secret clause in their marriage that no one saw coming. But before anyone discovered that, one truth became clear. This wasn't a sudden decision. It was a carefully planned ending that had been building for years. To the world, they were flawless. An Oscar-winning actress and a Grammy-winning country star. A Hollywood dream that seemed untouchable. But behind closed doors, the distance was growing. While Nicole was filming across continents, Keith was living life on the road. Late nights, endless tours, and a lifestyle that clashed with hers. Sources say arguments became routine, and silence filled the gaps where love used to be. Then came the breaking point. Reports claim Keith was furious over Nicole's recent film Baby Girl. He hated it, and some say he hated what it represented, Nicole's independence. That tension only deepened the cracks. Rumors began swirling about a new woman in Keith's orbit, someone who may have pushed their fragile marriage past the point of no return. But the scandal didn't stop there, because when the divorce papers surfaced, fans noticed something buried deep inside. A clause so unusual, it turned this heartbreak into one of Hollywood's most shocking legal battles. Buried in the fine print was a condition fans now call the cocaine clause. Back in 2006, Nicole reportedly insisted on a rule. If Keith ever relapsed into drugs or alcohol, she could walk away with everything. But if he stayed sober, she'd reward him $600,000 for every year of sobriety. 18 years later, that bonus adds up to more than $12 million. A payout that turned their private struggles into a public calculation. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Nicole had supported Keith through rehab, headlines, and recovery. And now, those same years were written into the divorce as cash on paper. It wasn't just about love anymore. It was about money, control, and the price of staying clean in Hollywood. And as shocking as that was, the next battle wasn't fought in courtrooms over dollars. It was fought over something far more personal. When the custody terms surfaced, fans were stunned. Nicole was granted primary custody of their 2 daughters, 306 days a year. Keith got just 59. On paper, it looked like simple numbers. But in reality, those numbers told a story, one of distance, regret, and emotional loss. Just months before the filing, Nicole had posted a glowing anniversary tribute online. Smiling photos, loving words, a family that seemed stronger than ever. Yet behind the scenes, Keith was already signing custody agreements. Public romance, private collapse. Whispers of Keith's midlife spiral only added fuel to the fire. Reports described him as restless, distant, and desperate to escape the quiet routine Nicole craved. She wanted stability. He wanted freedom. Their worlds, once intertwined, had split in opposite directions. And when Nicole finally said, "I can't pretend anymore," it wasn't about one argument or one betrayal. It was about years of trying to hold together something already broken. But even as emotions flared, one thing stood out. This wasn't chaos. It was control. Nicole's silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. While tabloids chased drama, Nicole said nothing. No interviews, no statements, just silence, calm, deliberate, and devastatingly effective. Insiders say it was all part of her plan. By refusing to engage, Nicole let the narrative shape itself, one where she appeared strong, graceful, and in control. Her simple phrase, "I can't pretend anymore," became a symbol of quiet strength. Keith, on the other hand, couldn't escape the rumors. Stories of a new woman, erratic behavior, and restless nights on tour began to shadow his image. Every headline chipped away at his reputation, while Nicole's only grew stronger. It was a masterclass in emotional control. Nicole didn't just end a marriage, she rewrote the story. And in Hollywood, the one who controls the story always wins. But this wasn't just about reputation, because what came next showed that for Nicole, silence was more than power, it was protection. When the dust settled, the numbers told their own story. Nicole kept her $250 million fortune, her homes in Sydney and New York, and full control of her legacy. Keith walked away with his Nashville mansion and a $12 million payout from that infamous sobriety clause. On paper, both won. But in Hollywood, wealth isn't the real currency. Image is. And Nicole's quiet composure may have been her greatest victory. Because "I can't pretend anymore" wasn't just about walking away from Keith. It was about walking away from illusion, from the idea that love, fame, and perfection can coexist forever. As insiders whisper about Keith's new companion and Nicole's next chapter, one truth remains. In Hollywood, every ending is just the start of another act. So, was Nicole breaking free, or playing her final, most brilliant role? Because in Hollywood, love fades, but power, money, and scandal, they never do.